This is Fight Fans Radio.
Broadcasting out of Albuquerque, New Mexico, you're listening to The Low Blow on swfight.com.
It is episode 168 of The Low Blow on Fight Fans Radio, southwestfight.com, and uscombatsports.com. I am Justin Goodrum, joined by Jorge Hernandez. What's up, man?
How's it going, man? Just beautiful time to be back on the air. We had a pretty good boxing card in my mind this past weekend.
Looks like we're joined by our guest, Jorge, if you want to introduce him.
Yeah, no, and joining us now is a fighter from Ohio. He's actually undefeated at 22-0 with 14 KOs. On December 7th at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York, he'll be facing Devon Alexander for the IBF Welterweight title. We're joined by Shawn Porter. Shawn, thank you very much for joining us. How are you?
Hey, what's up, fellas? Sorry I'm getting to you so late. We have some phone problems today. Just getting the messages and phone numbers and all that now. So thanks for having me on.
No worries. It's our pleasure, man. So December 7th, it's the biggest fight of your career. You'll be fighting for your first world title. So what's training been like, training for Devon Alexander, a guy that you've actually known since the amateurs, man?
Yeah. Training's been good. Training is picked up, of course. This is a world championship fight, so I'm training as hard as I've ever trained. And night and day, you know what I mean? So everything's moving smoothly, and I'll be ready December 7th.
What is it like to be on such a huge card? I mean, it's your first time fighting in New York, if I'm not mistaken, and you're the co-main event.
First fight in New York, and the best part about it is I've been in that venue before at the Barclays Center, and actually watched Devon Alexander win the IBF title there. And, I just remember looking around thinking, oh, man, this would be an awesome place to fight in. And, slowly but surely it's come to. So just a lot of excitement, man. I'm built up. I'm excited, and I'm ready to go.
You talk about the time that you saw him win that IBF title, and for people who don't realize it was against Randall Bailey in a fight that was very lackluster. So when you saw Devon Alexander's performance, did you think, this is totally a guy that I can beat?
I definitely thought that. I also looked at it and I said, man, this is just a boring fight. And you know what, though? My message to Devon is don't expect to get booed this fight. I don't play that. I don't get booed. I'm an exciting fighter, and I'm going to make this an exciting fight.
Shawn, I wanted to ask you, you talking about Devon Alexander, have you seen any of the trash talk that he's kind of floated your way leading up to this fight?
Nah, I don't pay attention to that stuff. You can talk all you want, but you got to get in the ring and perform and do what you're talking about. So I'll be able to answer probably all of his questions that night, and hopefully, I'll be able to do what it takes to win that fight.
I also want to add that you've been training with your father. I mean, when did you first start boxing? And has your dad always been your trainer?
Yeah, I've been doing this my whole life. My dad was a boxer growing up, so, of course, it's, in me to do it. And he started me and my brothers at the gym. I was about 4 or 5 years old, and I've been competing since I was 8, doing it ever since. So I've fought all around the world, and I've been in the ring with the best, and I'll beat the best. So this is nothing new for me. Just another big, exciting fight and a world championship fight to title to win.
What's that ride been with your father? Because a lot of times, you have a lot of fighters that come up with their dads, and it doesn't always work out this way. Sometimes they break away from their father. But here you are. You and your father, Ken Porter, have done an excellent job in grooming you. So what's that like to start from the grassroots all the way with your dad to finally get to this championship fight?
Well, I think that speaks for itself. Take a look at what we've done, not only in the last few years as a pro, but just my whole career, even up through the amateur programs. We have a formula that works, and I'm going to stick to it. So it's been great.
Shawn, can you discuss, kind of the new school of boxing? We've seen within the last couple of years a lot of new stars just, take the sport by storm. Gennady Golovkin, Austin Trout, Mikey Garcia. Do you feel, with this win with Devon Alexander and your career going forward, do you feel it's poised for kind of like the new school of boxing stars to rise to the top?
Yeah, I definitely want to be a part of that. I definitely want to be, in the history books. I want to be a world champion. And not only that, I want to be, something that, or someone that, people can take a look at and say, yeah, this kid's got it. He's the next big thing. He's the next big thing, and he's going to make a lot of noise as a professional fighter and a champion, in professional boxing.
Also wanted to say one thing about your hometown of, you're originally from Akron, Ohio, correct?
I'm originally from Cleveland.
Cleveland.
Like I tell everybody that knows me, I represent Northeast Ohio. I grew up all around Northeast Ohio, Cleveland, Akron area, so I represent everywhere.
What's it like to be able to represent your state? I know right now you're training in Las Vegas at the Mayweather Gym, but what's it like to be able to represent Ohio, a place, the Midwest is known to having some of the greatest fighters of all time. So what's it like, one, to be from the Midwest, and two, specifically from Ohio? I mean, I can think of old school guys like Michael Dokes out of the state of Ohio, man, that represented you guys in the world of boxing.
Yeah, and Michael Dokes, you just threw that name out there. It's the name that I've always been, in the same conversation with, and which is pretty cool because, he was a world champion, and I'm on the verge of being a world champion, and just to be able to bring something like that back to the community, back home, it's almost like, I'm bringing the championship back to where it should always be, so it's exciting, it's exciting to grow up, have grown up where I grew up at, and not only represent one city, but I've got literally all of Ohio behind me, which is just is a special thing to me, and I'm excited to do this and bring it back to Ohio.
Now, I mean, when it comes to boxing, obviously you've gone through it all. You were an Olympic alternate, so as far as your amateur career, you had a stellar amateur career. How did that basically shape you into the fighter you are today? I mean, you had your ups and downs. You were an Olympic alternate as well. So, from not being able to make the Olympic team, did that just help you? Do you think it helped you mold you into a better fighter, just because you had to strive a little bit more?
Well, like I always say, adversity makes a champion. And I fought through a lot in the amateur program. I fought the best in the amateur program, and I beat most of them. Basically all of them, not only just guys here in America, but, abroad too. So I think more than anything, you take that experience to the ring with you, the experience of, fighting in front of big crowds, the experience of fighting in front of people rooting against you, rooting for you. And, you take all that, and that's what the experience is for. You bring all that to this one big fight, and you let it all out in the ring, and I plan to leave it all in the ring that night, into the tape.
And when it comes to this fight, I mean, this might be the biggest stage that you've ever been on, and it probably is because it's for a world championship. But if people can learn or know one thing about you, what would you say it was?
I think something that maybe people don't know about me is I'm ready for this. I think some people may look at this as Devon taking a step down, or me taking a too big a step up. But I'll let you know right now. Let everyone listening know that I'm ready for this. I'm built for this. This is what I've always wanted. And, there's nothing better, no better opportunity. Everything happens on time for me, and now it's my time. So I'm excited to go ahead for this challenge, and I'm ready to do what it takes to win this fight.
Talk about the card that you're on, man, because it's 3 world championship fights, and then the main event, which isn't even for a championship, but it's 2 Brooklyn natives. So the other fights that are on this card are... are you excited for these fights, or are you specifically focused on just yours and everything else is just an afterthought?
Hey, man, I gotta specifically focus on myself and what I got to do to win my first world championship title. I'm aware of everyone else is fighting, and I'll go ahead and say God bless them, good luck. But December 7th and that week, I'm coming to Brooklyn to do nothing but handle my business and focus on my business and nothing else.
And if people want to follow you on social media, I know you're at Showtime Sean P on Twitter, but where else are you?
Also, my fan page is Team Shawn Porter, and also on Instagram at Showtime Sean P as well. So, and then I also have my website is teamporterboxing.com, and just keep looking for me. It's going to get bigger and exciting.
And one last message to your fans.
Nope, that's it, man. Just continue to watch, continue to look out for me, continue to support me, and December 7th, look for me to win my first world championship.
Well, we thank you very much for joining us here on the Low Blow, man. We'll have the interview, of course, live right now. We'll have that posted later on. Make sure we hit you with that, and we'll be covering the fights actually there in Brooklyn. So it'll be a pleasure to meet you there and be able to interview you there as well. But Shawn Porter, ladies and gentlemen, fighting Devon Alexander, December 7th at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. Best of luck.
Very nice, man. Thank you very much. Have a good night.
You too. Thank you, Shawn.
Likewise. Guys, all business, man.
Yeah, and once again, it continues, the trend of, boxing really having a stellar 2013, and honestly, in terms of the cards, dominating, mixed martial arts, it's really a great year we've seen with boxing so far.
Definitely, and for these guys to have this opportunity, I talked about the MMA guys who, people are just overwhelming you with these names, but boxing, I have to admit it, does a good job of promoting these guys and branding these guys, especially on such a brilliant card where the main event isn't even the world championship. So it's just unbelievable, man.